Hey everyone. Please support what I do to help keep Greyhawk alive by subscribing to the channel. Also, please consider becoming a channel member to get early access to videos, exclusive live chats, quarterly adventure modules, and more. Thanks, and enjoy the show. Now that the Adventures Dark and Deep core rulebooks Kickstarter is in full swing, I wanted to focus in on a part of it. So I'm going to talk about the secondary skill system today on Greyhawk Ragnar. Deep has one of the big things that Adventures Dark and Deep has that first edition AD&D doesn't have is a skill system. They tried to introduce a skill system later on with the Wilderness Survival Guide and Oriental Adventures and the Dungeoneer Survival Guide, where you get skill slot proficient non-weapon proficiencies, they call them, and you get these non-weapon proficiency slots as you went up in level, just like you get weapon proficiency slots. So it was just kind of automatic, and it was there wasn't a lot of choice there. It was just kind of something that you got as a free, and I never liked that idea really. I like the idea of the skills to enhance and kind of customize the classes, but I didn't really like the fact that it was just kind of boom, here you go, take one. So when I stumbled across something that Gary Gygax wrote for Castles and Crusades, it really hit me that this was the way to go, and I wanted to incorporate it into Adventures Dark and Deep. And that was the thing he wrote was the Castle Zagig options skill system. And this was a free PDF on the Troll Lord Games website for a while. And it got taken down, obviously, when they lost the rights. So hopefully it'll be back up again. But it's a really great idea is that you spend experience points to gain skills. And that was the concept that really inspired me. And I took that concept and I really ran with it. And then I kind of folded it back into first edition AD&D. That, in a way, I'll try to explain. So in Gygax's original thing, um, uh, skills would cost a set number of XP, depending on whether or not the skill used your prime requisite, your highest requisite. So, for example, if you chose thespianism, it would cost less if your charisma score was highest, or things like that. I liked that idea to an extent, and I kind of used it in mine. But I really did take the ball and run with it when it came to the whole concept. Um, and it's also changed a little bit in this new printing from the way it was before. So let me go over the general thing first. There are 35 different skills you can choose from, and each skill has a different um, cost and base experience points cost, depending on whether or not a key um, stat is highest in your character. So, for example, if you wanted to take um, alchemy, if your intelligence is more than all your other stats, then it costs you 5,000 XP to get a skill level in alchemy. If not, it'll cost you 8,000. So you have to make that strategic choice as a player. Do I want to spend those XP to go up in level, or do I want to spend those XP to gain a skill level? Um, and it sounds like a lot, and it is. It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a choice that you have to make. And I expect that in middle levels is really when you're going to see characters taking these things. So um, uh, what I've done though is in a lot of these where I was able to kind of harken back to the original D&D rules, and a lot of these are based on the specialist NPC classes uh, or NPC specialists that are in the Dungeon Master's Guide. So, for example, there's animal handling, there's armor making, there's furriers and things like that. Things that you would normally hire a specialist NPC to do are part of these skill system. It's part of these skill lists. And so you can take those and use them for your NPCs. So, for example, if you hire an armor maker, for example, he would be assumed to have at least one skill level in armor making, and it would work where if you have this skill level, you can crank out this many suits of chainmail in a month and that kind of thing. So it kind of gives you that same feel as if you were hiring the specialist. It especially works with sages and the scholarship skill. You'll see a lot of parallels between the scholarship skill in Adventures Dark and Deep and the sage NPC in the old Dungeon Master's Guide. And some of these are more directly related to combat. Some of these are more generally useful, and some of them are more backgroundy. Um, Now, one of the changes that's been made is that every character starts with a skill, but it's from a kind of a pared down list. And the list of starting skills includes stuff like being a farmer, blacksmithing, seamanship, the kinds of things that you would associate with a character before they became an adventurer. And you get one of those for free. And some of the classes have had their powers changed into skills. So, for example, the ranger's tracking ability. Rather than having a tracking system that is just for rangers and then another one for people who have the tracking skill, rangers just start the game with an additional level, and that's in tracking skill. So they get that for free, and then they can buy more levels as they advance, and um, their XP cost to go up in level has been adjusted to allow for that, so it evens out. There's a couple like that where if you're a savant, you start with a level in scholarship and things like that where it makes sense. Not all of them, there's just a handful, but in those for those things where more than one character class used the same thing, or where it was very likely that you'd have NPCs that just did that thing, or that it was something that everybody would want to get, it was turned into a skill that the character class starts with. Another change from the first printing is that the skills don't get exponentially more expensive as you get higher skill levels. So, for example, if you take a skill, if you take a level in animal training and handling, it's going to cost you 2,000 XP. If you wanted to get an additional skill level, it's going to cost you another 2,000 XP. In the first printing, it would have cost 4, and then 6, and then 8, and so forth. That doesn't work that way anymore, because some of the feedback I've gotten over the years, and in my own experience in my own campaign, is that after the first or second level, it just got way too expensive to do it, and it just wasn't worth it. So by paring those down, you still have to make that strategic choice as a character, but now it's a little more reasonable. It's also worth pointing out that the skill system, as it's now constituted, is very, very easily mutated into other things. So, for example, I used it as the basis for the Kung Fu system in Swords of Wuxia. And it works pretty much the same way. You pick a style of kung fu that's equivalent to like a skill, and then you can get more levels in that style of kung fu. And as you go up in levels, you get to do different things. Same thing with these skills. You get bonuses for using the skills, and you're able to do things faster or more efficiently or better or whatever. But it's the kind of thing that you can really take and stretch into other ways as well, and it really, really is so flexible. It's really a terrific thing. So I got to thank Gary yet again posthumously for inventing the concept, at least inventing it to me. I'm sure other games have done it, but it was news to me when I first saw that, and giving me the idea to take that basic idea, paying XP for skills, and transforming it into the much more built-out system that's in Adventures Dark and Deep. So anyway, just a reminder that the Adventures Dark and Deep Kickstarter is happening right now. You'll find a link below. If you'd like to get my impression of what first edition AD&D would have looked like with all of Gary Gygax's changes and additions and stuff, plus a lot more that's accumulated over the years that goes a little beyond Gary's original intention, then please do check it out. I think it's a wonderful game, especially if you're a first edition fan. I think you're really, really going to like it. So anyway, hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will talk to y'all later. Thanks for watching today's video. Please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Below you'll find links to my Patreon, which helps make these videos possible. You'll also find the web store where you can buy my books, and my blog where you'll find all sorts of free downloads and other articles. Thanks, and have a great day.